We begin with patriotism and protests across the NFL. The first Sunday of the football season coming on the 15th anniversary of 9/11. Not stopping some players from taking a knee, raising a fist during the national anthem. ABC's Kana Whitworth is in Santa Clara, where the 49ers and quarterback Colin Kaepernick will take the field tonight. That's where it started. Kana, good morning.
Robin, good morning. Of course, the 49ers host the Rams here tonight, and we saw players across the league show their support for Colin Kaepernick's call to end racial inequality. But on such a solemn anniversary, we saw some teams unify in how they decided to handle this movement.
Overnight, a wave of NFL members joining Colin Kaepernick's protest against racism and police brutality. Coast to coast, players supporting the movement. Entire teams making the unified decision to stand, but linking arms in solidarity during the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see?
On the Seattle sideline, it wasn't just players, but coaches, employees, even fans following suit.
Hopefully it's going to unify our country to where there's a message that needs to be heard. And so you heard us, now listen to us.
The Kansas City Chiefs doing the same, but their cornerback grabbing headlines after raising his fist in the air. Two Patriots players also raising a fist. This as over the weekend, NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell spoke out about Kaepernick's movement.
I support our players speaking out on issues that they think need to be changed in our society. What I do believe, though, is the respect for our country.
But making a statement has come at a cost for some players like Denver Bronco Brandon Marshall. The Air Academy Federal Credit Union dropping the linebacker, saying, while we respect Brandon's right of expression, his actions are not a representation of our organization and membership. But for some, Kaepernick's movement is opening a dialogue. This former player, who is also a Green Beret, says that while he was initially angered by the quarterback's stance, over the last 2 weeks, his feelings have evolved.
I thought what the Seahawks ended up doing was very powerful, not only because they were all together, they had coaches intermixed, and a lot of people in the stands were doing it too. That's what it's supposed to be all about, bringing us together, and we're trying to be part of the answers instead of just protesting in some way and expecting everybody else to fix the problem.
Now, Boyer says it's not inspiring unless these players actually become agents of change. He's encouraging Colin Kaepernick and these other players to get involved in their communities, and not just financially, but by donating their time as well. Robin.
Kana, thank you. And for more, we're going to bring in ESPN's Stephen A. Smith. So much happening on Sunday in week 1 of the NFL. First of all, your reaction, Stephen A. That was quite a moment when you saw players, coaches, fans all joining arms like that, linking arms.
Oh, well, definitely, especially in Seattle. I mean, everybody was locking arms together, and they were just basically reminding the country of you know, who we are and who we're supposed to be. If you recall, obviously, it's the 15th anniversary for 9/11, and think about that day, how tragic that day was for all of us as Americans. But at the same time, it also brought us together, because on that fateful day, the bottom line is that it wasn't black, it wasn't white. We were all Americans, and we were standing as one with somebody elsewhere attacking us as a nation. And so the Seattle Seahawks in particular, because I had spoken to a few people from that organization, that team in particular wanted to remind the world that we're all one. We're all supposed to be about being together. It's supposed to be about togetherness, and that was the kind of message that they wanted to send, particularly on a day like yesterday, and I thought they succeeded.
A lot of what you saw in the football stadiums across the country just really, oh gosh, it was quite a moment. But that one in particular, linking arms, standing together. What about the protests, though, the kneeling, the raising of the fists, your reaction to that?
Well, when you think about it, don't just think about the Star Spangled Banner. Think about the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic of which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all. And so when you see African Americans like Colin Kaepernick and others speaking up, kneeling, raising a fist like Arian Foster when he took a knee, etc., what they're saying is that, you know, everything, it's supposed to be about justice for all, and that simply is not the case when it comes to a lot of African Americans in this country. History shows that it's undeniable, and they're saying that in spite of everything that's going on, and in spite of our willingness to all be together. There's flagrant ineptitude, there's flagrant, unfairness that's taking place in this nation, and it's something that has to be addressed. That can't be forgotten in the throes of all of this that's going on. Yes, we live in the greatest country in the world, and there's a lot of things that come with it that are incredibly beneficial to all of us, but at the same time, there are still issues that need to be addressed, and they cannot be forgotten. That's the message these athletes want to make sure is hit home, which is why they talked about violence against unarmed African Americans and others. That's just how they feel, and they are very fixated on it.
And there have been some consequences, as we heard in Kana's report. Brandon Marshall of the Denver Broncos losing one of his sponsors, and you say that is sending the wrong message. You believe that?
I absolutely believe that. I think that it reeks of hypocrisy, because if America is about everybody, if it's about the land of the free and the home for the brave, if it's about freedom of speech, which is in the First Amendment of our Constitution, how are you going to punish a guy for expressing himself when he didn't harm anybody, he didn't impede, anything that was going on, the games were still played, etc. It just shows that, when they say that, you have freedoms, once again, you don't necessarily have that, because you lost an endorsement deal. That's somebody saying, we don't want you to be a part of us. It's un-American as far as I'm concerned, because you're basically asking him to quell his speech, his rights as a United States citizen, and that's really something that we have to work on as well. I thought it reeked of hypocrisy. Well,
before you go, Jesse's sitting here as well. The Patriots, Tom Brady's backup comes in. I don't want to talk about the Saints, by the way.
I wouldn't do that to you, Robert. I wouldn't do that to you.
A lot of close games. But what about what we saw with Tom Brady and his beautiful wife, Giselle? He's keeping busy during this 4-game suspension. What do you make of that?
Well, first of all, obviously he has his wife at home and with him, and she's there. She's his ultimate supporter, and kudos to her. But we all know what's coming. Tom Brady is going to come back after the 4th game of the season. He's going to come back with major attitude, and he is going to wreak havoc upon everybody, because he's pretty peeved that he is not playing. The fact that he plays in the AFC East also helps, because even though he wasn't there, the Patriots were the only team within the division that actually won. So it's just, it's just a prelude to what's to come. The New England Patriots will win the division yet again and get to the playoffs.
You got some chuckles from George here.
Wreak havoc.
Wreak havoc. Major attitude with Stephen A.
That's the truth.
That's the truth.